What's good, YouTube? It is JBK Syndicates, and I am here for a Baddies Caribbean update. The auditions has been announced, I think yesterday or I think Sunday, but they announced it in the last couple of days, past 2 days or so, and now they're having now they're giving us auditions. I think that they saw that a lot of people on Instagram was riling out and letting them know that they did not appreciate that all of a sudden now that they're not going to have auditions. But a lot of people have been saying that it makes no sense for people to go to auditions because they already have people pre-planned and pre-picked already, and all this is just for exploitation and to make some content. So I went on the Baddies Caribbean, the little contract that they're gonna make everyone sign. And there are some things that I was looking at reading, because I read through this whole entire thing, reading through this shit that really has me like, okay, yeah, like ZEUS is really trying to make sure that whoever is that was talking about the last auditions, that people in these auditions do not let people know what the fuck they had did to them in these Caribbean editions. They're doing it in Miami. But I found some things in here, especially in reading through like all this. This is a different contract that they made me sign as an audience member. And I feel like this is due to, things that have been getting exposed about how they treat people who are audience members and people who are auditioning for the show. And it seems like they have revamped and changed up a lot of things that they're having here on their signing contract. So for the contract and everything, they were literally, because I'm going to skip right here, the zero confidentiality and the NDA that they have here is really crazy. Reading this shit, because let me zoom in. Reading this shit here, y'all. This whole entire section is all about Mr. Plume Plume. This shit specifically says, and I quote, it has Mr. Plume Plume in just this NDA alone, has Mr. Plume Plume name in it 9 times. Okay? 9 times his name is in this shit. And let me tell you something. Let's get to it. First off, they're saying that this agreement is between you and ZEUS Networks LLC. ZEUS Networks. Now, remember when I told you guys in my live stream that I found some LLCs on ZEUS, and that the ZEUS Network is not that the LLC for ZEUS Network is not ZEUS Network, it is ZEUS Networks. And I stand corrected. This is exactly what they have here, ZEUS Networks LLC. So they don't have ZEUS Network itself as a LLC. So anyone can take a ZEUS and turn it as ZEUS Network, and they won't get sued by ZEUS, because ZEUS only has ZEUS Networks. It's ZEUS Networks. So it's not the ZEUS Network channel. It's ZEUS Networks LLC. So when I found all of that information, and I found all of the tax information on Mr. Plume Plume and how Mr. Plume Plume has been skipping out on paying his taxes for his LLCs that he's taken out since 2012, and that all of the LLCs that he's taken out in different names, ZEUS Networks, Lamuel Plumber in networks and entertainment and everything like that, all those got closed by the government, because he gave them false information on the LLCs. He didn't have proper documentation, or he stopped paying, or he wouldn't pay any of the taxes to keep these LLCs going. Continuing on, for the very first paragraph that we have for the NDA, it says here, you hereby acknowledge and agree the privacy of Lamuel Plumber, ZEUS Network, and ZEUS parties are highly valued, and note and that during the production of series Baddies Caribbean Auditions and Baddies Caribbean series. Now, let me tell you guys something also with this. when they first put up this NDA, I checked it, and they didn't have Baddies Caribbean audition or anything throughout this whole entire contract signed. This whole entire contract. When I first went on it, it had Baddies East still. It still said Baddies East auditions. So they went in, I think, in the span of 24 hours since they put it out, and went and rechanged everything and just took out Baddies East and put in Baddies Caribbean. But when they first had it, I wish I had screenshot it and everything, but promise you, honest to God, this did not say Baddies Caribbean. It said Baddies East auditions when I first went on it. The very first time they put out any information on any of the auditions that was coming out. As you can see here, let's keep on going. All efforts will be made by you, your staff, and any and all of your associates representative to maintain confidentiality with respects to all information and any other material of any kind you learn concerning Lamural Plumber or the ZEUS network. Meaning that if you find out any information, any confidentiality, like certain things like I found out about Mr. Plume Plume and put it out for them and everything, then then you will be violating the contract. So you can't, so if you find out any information, like let's say like you see Lamuel there, Mr. Plume Plume there with Scotty, and they start kissing and everything, and you speak on it, then now ZEUS is liable now to sue, because especially if you made and signed this fucking contract. So I wanted to be clear that the person that this is a complete direct response to whoever it was that was an audience member for Baddies East, and they went out and exposed ZEUS for how of the conditions, how they treated everyone at the auditions, and now this is ZEUS's way now of trying to negate that, because I'm pretty sure that in the last contract that they made people sign, they didn't have all of this in here. So moving forward, if you are going to do the Baddies Caribbean auditions, any information that you find out about ZEUS, any information that you find out about Mr. Plume Plume and everything, and you sign this contract, they are liable now to sue you. Okay? So let's keep going. Let's skip a little forward. It says ZEUS party shall mean any person that if you get any information on ZEUS, you are not supposed to intentionally disclose by ZEUS parties as mean any person, firm, partnership, corporation, or any other entity in any way related to or affiliated or associated with ZEUS personally and or professionally. Meaning limited to, including without limitations, ZEUS officers such as their ZEUS security, directors, employees, and their family members, fiancés, ex-fiancés, boyfriends and girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, friends and relatives, business associates, prospective business associates, guests, and anyone you may come in contact with over the course of your dealings with ZEUS. That saying, they're really amazing. I am not a lawyer. Hopefully, I hope we should get Tisa Tells on this shit, and so she can really break down this shit and what ZEUS Network is really trying to do. But what I got from this is that if you get any information on ZEUS or Mr. Plume Plume, you cannot disclose any information to any ZEUS security, any ZEUS security or any ZEUS employees, any of ZEUS's family, any of ZEUS employee family members. You can't disclose anything if you have a fiance, or ex-fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend. You can't disclose any information to ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends, friends, your relatives, and any business associates. That's mainly what they're saying. Okay? So now let's skip forward to number 2. Accordingly, you hereby irrevocable and perpetually agree that you, your staff, associates, and representatives shall not at any time use or disclose directly or indirectly to anyone any of the following described information or material. Any information acquired by you, your staff, associate, and representative in the course or in connection with the services to be rendered to you by the service or pursuant to your agreement. Meaning that if you go on YouTube, you go to any news people and tell them what you saw at ZEUS is now hereby able to basically run a pursuant to your agreement and sue you. That's what's meaning. Also, they're saying here that you anyway in series pursuant to your agreement or in any way related to Lemuel Plummer. Again, he's mentioned again. Lemuel Plummer, ZEUS parties, or any ZEUS networks, or any other faces of Lemuel Plummer. He's literally in here. He's literally in one sentence. He's literally in one sentence. His name is in one sentence twice. Okay? And it's very weird to me that, that the CEO is in here, that the CEO's name is in here like this in an NDA like this. Now, I'm not a lawyer and everything, and maybe, the CEO's name is supposed to be put in here in some point of some reason, but his name is in here almost 10 times. And it's all about you cannot speak on any information that you find out on him. Number 3 was the one that really piqued my eyes on this, was when they said all such information shall be deemed to be confidential, private, secret, and sensitive, and shall be kept by you, your staff, associates, and representatives confidential and secret unless Lemuel Plummer and or ZEUS Networks otherwise advise you in writing. So mind you, this seems like this whole number 3 right here seems like this one was written not by somebody of a lawyer, because there are a lot of things that all such information shall be deemed confidential, private, secret, and sensitive, and shall be kept by you, your staff, associate, and representative confidential and secret. So they already have secret here. So why do we need it to be, you have confidential and secret here twice in one sentence, right? All such information shall be deemed to be confidential, private, secret, and sensitive, and shall be kept by you, your staff, associates, and representatives confidential and secret unless Lemuel Plummer and or ZEUS Network otherwise advises you in such writing. Okay? Meaning, they had it like they're emphasizing that you keep it confidential and secret. They have it here twice about Lemuel Plummer and anything involving ZEUS Network. All such information, including without limitation and all pictures, recordings, records, documents, or any other information relating to Lemuel Plummer, ZEUS Network, and or ZEUS parties, or by any person, firm, or corporation doing business with or in any way related to or associated with ZEUS Network, whether prepared by you or other coming into your possession, is and shall remain our sole and exclusive property, and shall not be used, disclosed, removed, or copied by you with or without our prior written consent. Meaning they're trying to cover their bases. So even if, you have this information, it comes into your possession, all that. Once you sign this NDA and everything, even if ZEUS removes the information or everything is gone, everything, and it's not on their program, and you still can't talk about it. Anything that you talk about ZEUS, even if ZEUS is not have the branding or if there, ZEUS can still, sue you, even if they didn't give you proper written consent, which is crazy. This is another thing. Number 4, without limiting the foregoing, you shall not photograph, take, film, or otherwise record any likenesses, sound, and or activity of Lemuel Plummer and or the ZEUS parties under any circumstances outside of those required in the performance of your services as described in the agreement. Now, when I was an audience member for the ZEUS Network, for their Bad versus Wild, they had an area for us to take pictures, record, and be there in the area, but we weren't allowed to record in the staging area. What ZEUS is saying here is you are not allowed to record, you're not allowed to take pictures, you're not allowed to do anything of the sort while you're auditioning for the thing. Meaning that most likely they're going to be taking people's phones. That they're probably going to take people's phones and put them in them green bags so people cannot record anything that's happening at the auditions, any fights, if they see any of the cast members that are going to be there doing the auditions, anything of the sort. If you see Lemuel Plummer there and you so happen to take a picture of him or anything, you are not allowed to put that out and upload that or anything. And under any circumstances, even if after the auditions are over, you're not allowed to post those up. And if so, ZEUS is allowed to sue you. Okay? This is not anything that ZEUS had put out for audience members when we did Bad versus Wild. So it's very, very clear that somebody is really trying to make sure that none of this information about these auditions for Baddies Caribbean is leaked. This is what they're trying to avoid. This is their main thing. Once you sign this NDA, you cannot leak anything. And if we find out that you're the one that leaked anything, we will sue you. Here we go. Number 5. You agree that you will not disparage or encourage others to disparage the Lemuel Plumber, the ZEUS Network, or the ZEUS parties. Do you get that? For purposes of your disagreement. What? See, this is how I'm reading shit and they're fucking up. This is how you know that this was not written by like a legal team, because nobody has gone through and read. I'm reading through all this and I'm finding I'm finding things that are messed up. I'm finding things that they're out here that they put in this thing and they misspell a lot of things. Like, look at this. Are you currently awaiting trial for any crime offense? Why? That's supposed to be trial. That's supposed to be trial. Oh my God. So let's keep going forward because there's more things. Now, what this saying is, for your purpose of your disagreement, which I don't understand what that means. The term disparage includes without limitation comments or statements made in any matter or media in the press and or media, included but not limited social media sites such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, etc. about the company which may adversely affect any matter of conduct of business of the company without limitations of the company's business plans or prospect or the business reputation of the company. They're literally telling you in number 5 that if you sign this paper, if you sign this contract, that you cannot talk bad about like some Diddy shit, like on some Diddy shit. You cannot say anything bad about Lemuel Plumber or the ZEUS Network. Okay, you cannot go to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, anything talking about or saying anything bad about Lemuel Plumber, which they say here, which can cause any matter of combat or basically affect the company business. Meaning, like, if you say, "Oh, Baddies Caribbean treated me like shit. They didn't give us no food. They only gave us was liquor the whole entire time. Everything. It was a shit show, and they treat us like shit." The ZEUS Network is allowed to take down that content and also sue you because you signed this NDA. Everything here is we will sue you if you talk bad about Mr. Plume Plume after signing this thing. So that's crazy, y'all. Like, you're not allowed to talk bad about Mr. Plume Plume when you come to these auditions and sign this agreements paper. You agree that number 6. You agree that you will hold all information learned on the series as well as information about Lemuel Plumber, ZEUS Network, and or ZEUS parties as strictly confidential and will not use or discuss with any party or disclose directly or indirectly to any party. Any information or trade secrets obtained or learned as a result of your participation in the series, including with or without any information concerning or related to the series, the participants, the events containing in the series, the outcome of the series, or the methods or production of the series. Any and all such information is collectively referred to as herein as series information. So, I know that was just a lot that I just read. They just said that you are to hold all information that you learn about this series. So if, like how I told you how they were running the games on Bad versus Wild and how the games were constructed and how they were starting off the show, when I told you that when they first start when we first get there and they start filming the show, that they have Nick Cannon and Mr. Plume Plume come out and do the intro and the outro, and then they do the musical performances all in that span of time, and then that's when they start doing the show itself. So literally, if you are a member of you are an audience member, you cannot go on social media and explain how the process of them filming the Baddies Caribbean auditions went. You cannot discuss how what they did, how they lined you guys up, what they did, what did you have to do in between that. You're not allowed to disclose any of that information, and you must withhold that information. This is one thing right here that really had me right here. You agree that disclosure by you in any violation of the foregoing shall constitute and be treated as a material breach of this agreement, which will cause irreparable harm to ZEUS Network. You therefore agree that you will be liable to ZEUS Networks and shall pay to ZEUS Network as liquidated damages and not as a penalty the sum of $1 million. You expressly agree that this liquidated damage amount represents reasonable compensation for the harm that will incur by ZEUS Network as a result of such disclosure. That this liquidated damage provision is necessary because ZEUS Network will in fact suffer significant damage as a result of a violation of this paragraph of this agreement. Meaning, ZEUS Network, meaning if you give out any of this information, if you disclose any information on Land Mr. Plume Plume, if you give out any information, oh, you saw Rolly, she was giving head to a security member or something, or you saw, Scotty, she was having sex with Mr. Plume Plume behind a truck or something, you're not allowed to disclose that information. If you are disclosing that information and you did sign this agreement sheet, you are obligated now to pay ZEUS $1 million up front without even them trying to go with lawyers and all that shit. You literally are signing that if you disclose any information on ZEUS and ZEUS finds out and you sign this paper, ZEUS will automatically, you will get a penalty of $1 million for speaking on ZEUS or Mr. Plume Plume. Okay? This is literally, they're saying that you express that you basically signing this, and then if you give out any information about them, will automatically conclude as liquidated damages to them, and that it is that they believe that $1 million is reasonable compensation because you cause harm to the ZEUS Network and Mr. Plume Plume by releasing such information. That it will basically, they're saying that you releasing this information can destroy and cause damages to us reputation-wise and cause punitive damages to Mr. Plume Plume. So Mr. Plume Plume and the ZEUS Network is allowed to literally get $1 million from you up front. And if they want to, they are allowed to sue you as a sum of penalty. Which is wild to me. So whoever it is, I hope that everyone is, those who are thinking about doing this shit, that you highly reconsider and not go up to this, because ain't no fucking way that you're going to you're going to basically shut down and to stop everyone that goes to these auditions and shut them the fuck up, and basically now be like, if you say anything about Mr. Plume Plume, if you say anything about our network, anything, if you say anything even bad, even if you say anything good about our content, we're going to sue you. We are going to basically take $1 million. We're going to put you in a penalty for $1 million. We're going to basically, subpoena you for $1 million. And then if we want to sue you for more damages, then we can. And you agree to that. So do not agree to going to this shit. I highly implore you guys not to do this shit. This is crazy that ZEUS is now threatening. Because let me highlight it here for y'all. Let me highlight it here. $1 million, okay? $1 million, okay? You therefore agree that you will be liable to ZEUS Network and pay ZEUS Networks as a liquidated damage penalty sum of $1 million. You expressly agree that this is lucrative. You agree that this liquidated damages amount represents the reasonable compensation for the harm that will be incurred by ZEUS Network as a result of such disclosure. That if you disclose this information about ZEUS, that you are just by just signing this NDA, you will pay us $1 million fucking dollars. Crazy. We take health and safety as safety of our contestants, cast crew extremely serious. That's some bullshit. You see this? This is a response to what happened with Smiley. Okay? We take the health and safety of our contestants, cast, and crew extremely serious. That's bullshit. To ensure everyone's safety, there is absolutely no physical altercations, no weapons, no drugs, no guests that are not auditioning, including family members and children. No any illegal contraband allowed. If you do not feel well or and around anyone that has tested positive for COVID, please stay at home. At times, you must remain calm, collected, respectful to judges, producers, security, venue personnel, and fellow contestants. That's not the truth. How many we've seen? 2 Baddies auditions so far where the contestants are not respecting themselves, they're not respecting the producers, they're not respecting the judges or the fucking security or the venue. So the fact that you guys are putting this in here is just trying to cover bases and trying to make it seem that you guys are very serious about this shit. Please be patient during the filming process because it will be a long day, and keep your voices low at all times in the venue because we are filming. If you leave the line without a section of the restroom uses, you will lose your place. They're saying that you have to stay in this fucking line all fucking day unless you gotta use the bathroom. If you move, that's it. Your spot is gone and get to the back of the fucking line, bitch. Okay? Due to limited parking availability, we do suggest taking public transportation or using a local rideshare app such as Uber, Lyft, etc. If you must drive, please find legal parking in another suitable location because we will not be responsible for anything that happens to any vehicles. Okay? P.S. You cannot audition more than once. But it's crazy because Scarface auditioned twice. There are a couple people that we've seen on a couple of the Baddies auditions that auditioned at other Baddies auditions. So that's also a motherfucking lie. And then they want you to just basically sign your name on the shit and then send it through. Right? So, yes, y'all. It's fucking wild that Baddies, that they have all this here. That they're mainly trying to cover the tracks and bases of making sure that you do not speak on Mr. Plume Plume. Specifically, they're trying to make sure that you do not talk about Lamuel Plummer. Okay? If that was the case, then they would have ZEUS Network first. That you should not mention anything about ZEUS Network or CEO. They made sure they put Mr. Plume Plume first because there is a lot of shit ton of fucking information that has been coming out in the span of a few weeks on Mr. Plume Plume and Mrs. Scotty. So now they want to cover as much basis as they possibly can to make sure that whoever is going to be at the Baddies, that we do not get a situation like what we got in the last few weeks of basically people like me and people that were auditioning speaking out on what the fuck they were doing. This is their response now, that they will sue your ass. And then I also implore that if anyone has been to previous Baddies auditions, to please, I would love to talk to you guys or send me a message or something so that we can see if this is the exact same application that they made people sign in last time, because this shit looks very, very changed. I looked at this shit, and when I first got on it, like I said, it had Baddies East on it. It said Baddies East. Now all of a sudden, it's now talking about Baddies Caribbean. That's not what they had here. All of this said Baddies East. Baddies East. All this shit had Baddies East. So they changed it. They just changed the name and then they added a couple things. But their people have not read. I don't think anyone really sat down and read it and tried to make sure that there were no spelling errors. There are a lot of spelling errors going on in this thing. Proceeding. Doesn't proceed have two E's in it? Doesn't proceeding have two E's in it? Or am I wrong? Like where I'm like literally just scrolling through shit and I'm finding like all types of like discrepancies and shit and stuff that they have on here. It makes no sense that you have a whole entire disclosure agreement here, an NDA, but you have discrepancies. A lot of things. Signatory, like they have that spelt wrong too. There's a lot of things that they have here. They have a lot of things spelt wrong. They have a lot of things that are not that are not a proper sentence. So I do appreciate you guys for running through this contract with me and everything. This is on the ZEUS network. This is on the ZEUS network's page. Okay, if you literally go on Baddies, if you literally go on Baddie on the ZEUS network, you can click right here on auditions. It's gonna bring you to another page and it's gonna show this. And then boom, that's where you get the whole entire audition page for you to sign up and do everything. And I hope that people read it. It's Los Angeles, in the state of California. Jams, administered by Jams. We're gonna do more info, but yes, this is all that I really wanted to like bring forth and let you guys know. I do appreciate you guys for joining me and watching this with me and us running through this contract. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.